What's up, everyone? How you guys doing? I'm back. Thank you all for those of you who viewed the previous video on Genshin's 5 underrated 4-star characters. Really appreciate it. And so yeah, I was thinking, why not make one for Honkai Star Rail? So just for those of you who are wondering, been playing Star Rail since 1.1. I think it was Silver Wolf's banner. I didn't play on launch. I was on a break from like most games at that point of time. So I only got in when Silver Wolf came out. Didn't pull for her. First 5-star was Luocha. And so yeah, we probably gonna talk about some of the 4-star characters that are pretty good to build. I don't build it. I don't say like 5-star, 4-star. I don't have a list of like underrated 4-stars because I think that we do only have a small roster of 5-stars currently. We have about 18, 21, 21 4-stars. So I think I'm just going to talk about some 4-stars that everyone should build on their roster, right? I think that just like in Genshin, 5-stars in Star Rail always get overshadowed because they are the shinier toys that people want to chase for. But I think that in Star Rail, we do have some 4-stars that can definitely help change your account as well. So yeah, we're gonna talk about them in no particular order. I think let's get this out of the gate first. When we talk about 4-stars, I think that we should talk about Ting Yun and Pella. Both do a similar role with both do the same thing with different roles. All right. So Ting Yun, number one. Ting Yun, what is she? If any of you play Genshin Impact, right? If any of you came from Genshin Impact, you'll be very familiar with her because many people call her the HSL version of Bennett. And although they do have some difference in the kits, you can see why. What Ting Yun does is that on her skill and also on her ultimate, to be fair, which is this skill, all right, both are damage buffers. Basically, Ting Yun's special boosts the target. It's a single target move. It boosts the target's attack based on Ting Yun's attack, while her ultimate gives damage increase and also regeneration. So the difference between Bennett and Ting Yun is that Ting Yun is more of a battery for the for the uh for the ultimate of the target, whereas Bennett is more of a healer together with the damage and attack boost. The reason why Ting Yun is pretty good is not only is because of that factor, right? She buffs, she gives energy. The other reason is also because Ting Yun is also very SP positive. For those of you who play Star Rail, you know about the skill points. Um, and Ting Yun, her skill lasts for 3 of her turns, right? It lasts for 3 of her turns. And what this happens is that on the turns where her buff is still active, you can basic, so that it helps generate skill points for your other attackers or your other supports that are more SP hungry. For example, if you're using like a Bronya, you're using like Imbibitor Lunae especially, or even like Dr. Ratio, Kafka, these are all hungry units for SP, and Ting Yun does help alleviate that by being positive, so that she helps the other teammates on your team progress, with their skills. So yeah, to me, she's a really great character. She also has pretty decent Eidolons. Her E1 gives speed to the character Benediction. Benediction is also the buff that she gives, if I'm not mentioned, which deals a little bit of lightning damage. It's okay. It's not that big of a significance, but it's definitely a bit of chip damage that helps out Alice as well. So, and her other Eidolons also help with energy generation and damage. So you can see how she's so crucial. Even though we have a lot of 5-stars coming out, Ting Yun's always one on the list of supports that you should always build, even though she's a 4-star. And even though her Eidolons are great, she is definitely very, very functional at E0. For relics, okay, we talk about stats first. For stats, what's important is her speed. So that the more speed she has, the more she can take, the faster she can get to a turn, and that's where she can also so you want to be fast so that she gives the attacker the buff from a skill, but at the same time you also want to be fast so that she generates more skill points for you. So just make sure to break that speed thresholds, 134, 147, step by step. For her attack, since her skill bases off her attack, people always think about, oh, just invest more into attack, but actually that's not really true, because she's quite a fragile unit. You may actually want to invest into HP and defense as well. Reason why I don't invest into all the way into attack as well is because it has diminishing returns that you could probably boost elsewhere. Usually people will always say 2.2 to 2.4, 2.5 is the sweet spot. I have her at almost 2.5. I think that's it. And then the rest you can invest into a HP, defense, and speed. So that definitely helps out a lot in her survivability. And for sets, obviously Hackerspace is good because of the speed and everything. For this, I wouldn't use Fleetless. I just haven't changed it. I would say that Broken Keel is pretty good for survivability, because for supports, you also want them to be fast. You also want them to be able to sustain so that they don't die off, right? And yeah, for the light cones, Dance is what I use on her. It's not the only one. You could probably go with the Battles Are Over, which is Bronya's light cone. You buy the battle pass. This may be also good. The Carve the Moon, Weave the Clouds. But generally, I will recommend, or even if you're a 3-star, if you're a newer player, Mashing Cogs. Where is Mashing Cogs? Mashing Cogs also pretty decent as well. Generates more energy so she can go when she attacks or gets hit. So Mashing Cogs is also great. And yeah, Ting Yun is great. She helps battery, and even though she's only single target, if you're playing the hyper carry setup, she's gonna be great for you. And then on the other side, we talk about Pela. All right, so what does Pela do? So while Ting Yun buffs your attackers, Pela is more of a debuffer. Her whole kit centers around her ultimate, which puts this thing called an exposed, and exposed reduces enemies' defense by a set amount based on the level. So for example, now I'm at level 11 out of 12, which is 41%. If you have her at max, it'll be 42%. So if Eidolons is 40%. So she's very similar to Ting Yun in the sense that she's very SP positive. Her skill does debuff, like reduces the buff of an enemy, but basically you don't use it until you need to. So most of the time you'll be basic attacking. So you can see how very SP positive she is. She's great. For light cones, I would recommend the Pulse, Shines, and Resolutions of Sweat. Sorry, Resolution Signs as Pulse of Sweat. This also gives and this allows you to ensnare enemies, which also gives a defense decrease, because if you notice, only her ultimate does the defense down, the exposed. Whereas with this light cone, your basic and your skill will also be able to put that debuff down, right? So if you're playing Akron, for example, Akron, for those of you who do not know, her kit centers around gaining stacks for ultimate by debuffs. And if you're playing Pela with Akron, you will definitely want it. I'm not saying that this is the only option. If you were here for the Silver Wolf events in 1.1, you have the Tutorial Light Cone. This is also helps out as well, gives some more energy. I think that this is much better in pure fiction. Whereas for I think this is generally the better option, especially in MOC. But you won't go wrong with either one. Her Eidolons are pretty okay. Some of them boost her energy. Her E4 is great if you play her with an ice DPS like Jingliu, who's currently running. You play her with Misha or Yanqing. Definitely E4 is great. E6 is not really that great. Usually E4 is where people say she is the stopping point for Eidolons. But yeah, Pela is great. All you just need for her, especially if you're using the resolution light cone, is to give her effect hit rate. Mine's a little bit high. Usually just need about 67%, if I'm not wrong, for her. I have a bit high, but it is what it is. And generally, you want her to be fast. So speed and also sustain. So very similar to Ting Yun, how you build her. She doesn't really need attack because she's not doing that much damage. You just need her to be faster. You just need her to tank hits. You just need her to have a little to have not EM, sorry, this is not Genshin. Effect hit rate so that she will be able to land it debuffs. And so yeah, I have an effect hit rate body on her. So you're using pet resolution, usually I recommend that. But if you are using the tutorial light cone, which already gives you effect hit rate, you could probably go for a more defensive set, or in pure fission, maybe a more attacking set like crit or even attack, because she does enough damage for pure fiction. So yeah, usually you also want her on an energy recharge rope. And so yeah, Payla's pretty good. Like I said, they both perform the same function with different roles. While she buffs, she's the debuffer. And honestly, one of the best things about both of them is that they are both SP positive, right? Especially using a character like in Battle Lune, or using a character like Qingque, even a character like Kafka, which I do not have. I do not play Dot, or even like Zila, right? These are characters that can be a little bit SP hungry. Sorry. And so having a character like these two reduces the pressure on your team. Of course, with Sparkle, if you have Sparkle, that also helps out a lot. But Sparkle doesn't just mean that. Sparkle means that you could probably you'll be less worried about your buffs. But even so, Pela and Ting Yun are both excellent characters. Especially depending on your team, one might be better than the other. If let's say if you have Acheron, Pela's definitely amazing. If you have Dots or Hyper Carries, both of them, she's amazing. And you know what? Both of them are amazing together. So why not buff your Hyper Carry or your damage dealer, and debuff your opponent so that you get insane damage. All right. Third one. So she's also a support, a harmony, just like Ting Yun, but she does it. She supports and buffs a team in a different way. Asta is the first character that you can pull for. So for those of you who don't know, in your very first 10 pull, you'll get an Asta for free. Asta is a little bit more reliant on Eidolons as compared to Ting Yun and Pela. Both these two work great at E0. And if you head in for EZO for the rest of the game, you are fine. Asta does have a little bit more quality of life improvements in her Eidolons, but for Asta, what she does is that on her skill, right, she's able to stack up these charges. All right, it's called charging. So she has 5 charges that she can go up to. Every charge that you stack improves her attack, improves the attack of the team, right? And at every turn it will reduce. So that's why there's a bit of nuance with her. The great thing is that her skill is a multi-hit. It's a little bit random, but it's so every time you hit a different enemy, it will proc. Also, if you burn, so your basic, while it doesn't really proc, with this trace, you're able to also stack with your basic as well. Her ult is pretty great for people who are newer to the game and want a little bit of more speed. Her ult basically gives speed to all allies for 2 turns. What this means is that you're able to outspeed your opponents very well. Especially, for example, if you're newer to the game and you don't have like speed boots, or you don't have very good speed substats on your relics, it definitely helps out a lot. Her Eidolons, like I said, gives a lot of quality of life. Her E2, when you use the ultimate, it basically locks your stacks. So instead of dropping 3, it will stay there for like 1 turn. So it helps you be more SP positive. You could probably basic after that, generate energy, and also to generate skill points. Evo is also pretty great for her energy. So like I said, more energy for her means that she's able to ult and she's able to lock, so that you're able to be more SP positive. And the E6 is great as well. Instead of losing 3, you lose 2. So you can see where the quality of life comes in with her Eidolons. But she's great at E0 as well. You just need to play with her a little bit more. You need to be able to manage your cooldowns and your skill points a lot better. Just like these two, speed is the name of the game. There is a version where you use her as a sub DPS as an attacker. I think that's kind of dead in the water now. People usually run her as a support where she's tanky, but she's giving out the buffs as she needs. So Asta is great. All you just need for her is some speed, defense, and attack. Break effect is good on her. I wouldn't say go for break effect rope, but you have some break effect is decent because the other great thing about her special is that she can break fire weak shields very easily every time it hits. So for example, it hits 5 times. I think with the E1 you hit 6 times. That is 6 continuous stacks of fire shield breaking. So if you're going against like the ice boss that has fire weakness, this gets through very, very quickly, especially if you have a run Mei that increases break efficiency very well. All in all, while Asta's a little bit harder to play, I think that she is not she may not be like S tier as compared to these two, but I think that she's maybe low A, and low A is fine, especially if you're in the early game. Like her icons are actually also very flexible. If you're playing her with Himiko, who's a 5 DPS, this is great for her. Bronya's light cone is always great. Dance, everything. Marys of the Past can also be good because of her ability to break better than other Harmony characters. By attacking, you get more energy, and so you can see how that will roll. This is what I used to use on her until before I unlocked Run Mei. And it definitely helped to keep her uptime very, very well. So do not be mad if you don't have like a dance, or even Bronya's light cone, or even I would say past and future. Let's just skip that. But yeah, and even like I was talking about Machine Cogs. Machine Cogs is great for her as well. And yeah, so she's not that she's good. Like I said, a little bit trickier to play than Pela and Tingyun, but you wouldn't be mad using her. So yeah, do always get a free Asta, and it's something that you may want to consider investing into. Especially even for pure fiction, she is amazing in pure fiction. All right, the next topic we're going to talk about healers. Everyone gets a free Natasha, right? When you do the Bella Box story, get a free Natasha. Fortunately, Natasha is in a rough spot when it comes to sustains. If there are 2 sustains I would like to recommend for anyone, any 4-star sustains will be Lynx or Gallagher. All right, so Gallagher is a little bit more of your battle healer. What he does is that he puts out this thing through his ult called Besotted. What Besotted does is that it marks a debuff onto your opponent. So if you're playing Acheron, this is actually great. This counts towards a stack. What happens is that any of your allies that attack an enemy with Besotted gets healed. Right? So it's comfy, right? As long as your team is able to get hits onto the enemy that with this debuff. This is based on the enemy's time, the enemy's turn. All right, all enemies last for 2 turns. So if your enemy is fast and you're slow, then you might lose a little bit more value. But I think that he is still pretty great. He can increase his outgoing healing by putting on break effect. This will be 150% break effect. It definitely and yeah, he heals pretty well. The healing is also on his skill, sorry. And the last thing is that after he ults, he takes a turn immediately. His basic attack actually becomes an empowered basic attack, the Nectar Blitz, which reduces enemies' attack. So he's actually very multifaceted. I would say though that his issue is that if you want someone to debuff, which can be crucial in like MOC, you might need his E2, because E2 is the one that gives the debuff. But other than that, he's great. He has decent light cones. We have the what is real that helps with the break effect, so you need more stats for break effect. It definitely helps out. Sorry about that. You can also use any of the light cones that are beneficial, like shared feeling for outgoing healing, post-op. You know, all these are pretty good. I wouldn't say post-op is that good, but I'll say that shared feeling is pretty good on him. Even the even if you manage to play during the 1.5 event, the hail over here, the light cone is also pretty great if you manage to snag it. As for relics, you just need to be fast, you just need to survive, and you just need him to have a break effect. So yeah, Gallagher's not that bad. In my opinion, at E2, Gallagher's better than Lynx. The benefit that Lynx has is that at E0, I think the Lynx is a better healer. What I mean, so Lynx is more traditional, where she scales off her HP. So along with her health, she's already tanky enough to survive. What she does is that she gives not only does she heal, she also gives max health to the one getting healed. All right, this does have a little bit of a side effect where if the character's destruction or preservation, they will have a higher aggro chance, means enemies are more likely to hit them. But if you want someone that gets hit more, like Blade, if you have a Blade, I think that Lynx is pretty good. If you have someone like Clara, right, this could be great for them as well. Although, yeah, this is also good with Clara. So her ultimate is an AoE cleanse, so it heals and AoE cleanses as well. And yeah, like she's basically the upgraded version of Natasha. While Natasha's like the basic training wheels of healing, I think that Lynx is great. You also get her for free from completing Pure Fiction. For which state is it for the very first time? So you know, she's great. Just need to have her built for, as like always, you know, they need to be a little bit faster because they're healers. They don't need to heal. They can help you generate skill points. That's the added benefits of healers. And yeah, like I said, for me personally, I think there is little comparison between Lynx and Gallagher. And I would say that if you ever in my E2, Gallagher is definitely better, but you're not gonna go wrong with Lynx as well. So yeah, in my opinion, it's a choose your poison kind of thing. There are teams where Lynx is better. There are teams where Gallagher is better. And of course, you know, if you have like 2 5-star sustains, let's say you have Aventurine, you have Fu Shen, you have Huo Huo, you have Luocha. Is it Luocha? I don't know, I can't remember. You had these characters, obviously, you know, maybe they take precedence because you technically only need 2 sustains. But I would say that if anything, you're still working on the new in the game, these are 2 to look out for. And even Gallagher has a bit of value if you're trying to use Acheron. While he doesn't contribute to her trace, that because although she doesn't contribute to this trace, which one is it? The Abyss trace. She definitely helps out in giving debuffs so that Acheron can stack better. She gets the ult faster. Last 4-star I like to talk about is Hertha. Hertha is the character that a lot of people didn't like, and for good reason when she first came out. Pretty mediocre damage, and erudition was in a very rough place. However, with Pure Fiction, a game mode that heavily favors AAU attacks, so basically Pure Fiction is a game mode like MOC. The only difference is that instead of big tanky enemies, they are a lot more fragile, although they come more in waves. So being able to hit more enemies at a single given time is more valuable, and Hertha from like the D ranks rose up to S tier overnight because of Pure Fiction. So she's definitely a basis to have, even especially if you don't have like AoE characters like Himiko, like Argenti. She's definitely someone to work with. Basically, the trademark of Hertha is her passive, which procs when not passive, sorry, her talent. This talent that procs when an enemy goes below 50%. What happens is that she will be able to do a follow-up, right? The Kuru Kuru, as many of you may be familiar with. And this definitely helps put on more damage in Pure Fiction because the enemies are so have so little health. These amount of being able to attack constantly with follow-up attack is very, very good. Eidolons, I'm not talking a lot about Eidolons because actually everyone gets an E6 for free once you finish off Memory of Chaos. Not Memory of Chaos, sorry. Pure Simulated Universe, World 9. So before World 9 came out, this patch, it was only E5, but now you can get it for E6 by just playing through. They don't really do much. They just help out with a damage output for all the different parts. So E4 is a talent, which is the follow-up. Ultimate also gets buffed with E6. But yeah, like eventually you get some of them by playing the game, and she's honestly very good. For light cones, honestly, any of the light cones are pretty good. If you manage to have Jing Yuan's light cone before dawn, you are in luck. This is the best erudition light cone in the game, which isn't saying much, to be honest. But even other light cones, like the new one, The Day the Cosmos Fell, is pretty good. Breakfast light cone used to be decent, but now that you can actually buy it from the same place as Cosmos, the Cosmos is definitely much better. Even other light cones like that help out with a damage. You know, I use the Today's a Peaceful Day. This is a Battle Pass light cone. It's pretty good. And honestly, while she's more niche, well, she's only good in Pure Fission. Don't use it in MOC. You can use it in Sim Uni if you want, but I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop you for that. I think that Hertha in the Hertha is definitely a character you should look out for if you want to do well in Pure Fission, especially if you lack some of the top dogs like Himiko, like Argenti, or even like dot characters. So yeah, these are like 5 characters. Are there any more? I would say that for me personally, I don't like to play a lot of dot. But if you are a dot enjoyer, let's say you have Kafka, you know, Gwen-Iphon, Sampo, and Luca are pretty great, especially if you're even if you have Black Swan, but especially if you don't have her, you don't have Black Swan, these 3 will be very crucial. I would say that Sampo doesn't get used if you're using Black Swan. Gwen-Iphon does have a bit of use if you are outside of dot teams based on her ability called the Fire Kiss, right? When if you're a Fire Kiss, enemy receives 4% increased damage. This is considered as a debuff. So it is pretty great for people who are like who want to use Akron, but let's say don't have Welts, they don't have Silver Wolf, right? So definitely Gwen-Iphon can be an option. I don't have her because I have Welt, but let's say if you only have Pela and you want a second Nihility, she's not that bad. I think the only problem is that Burn is not as strong as... No, wait, Burn is pretty strong. My bad. I was thinking about Shock. Yeah, Luca is more single target. She's a little more situational, but it is what it is. And other than that, yeah, I think Hanya, I've heard great things about. I've not tested her out. I've not built her. Maybe one day I might actually get around to build her and actually see what she's about. For DPSs, I usually don't like to recommend DPSs besides Hertha, because technically they're going to get overshadowed, and a lot of content is built around 5-star DPSs. That's the unfortunate thing about these games. I would say if you want to really build a 4-star DPS, Xingque is the way to go. However, I'm not recommending her because Xingque needs C4. It's not like you can use it at E0 and she's good and she gets better at C4. She is hard to use at C4, before C4, and especially before C6. So Xingque, if you have the islands of Xingque, build her up. Should be great. Other than that, you know, like Shu Shang, Shui used to have some use. Nowadays they're a little bit but you know, it's not the worst thing if you have them built, especially if you don't have any of the 5-star DPSs for your second site. The last one I'd like to talk about is Serval. Serval is also something you can get for free. Serval's actually pretty great, unless you have an Akron, unfortunate. But let's say you don't have an Akron, she's actually a very good lightning DPS. Her AoE, she also gets her ultimate up very, very fast. So that is that's a bonus. She also gets energy on her turn, so that really helps to give her a lot of value to yeah. So she basically, obviously, okay, it's all about spamming outs, right? The talent gives her more energy, so it is what it is, right? She's not going to crush content, right? But having someone who's able to input consistent damage can be more viable than someone who's like more backloaded. So someone who is more like Shrey, who's more like who needs the ult, or someone like Danhe who needs like, or even like Su Shang who needs the break. Sometimes having someone who's more consistent in damage, like Saval, can be great, and like she's also usable in pure fiction, just like Hertha. So yeah, that's about it for this video. I hope you guys like it. The 4 stars in Star Rail are a little bit less developed than in Genshin. Genshin, I think like we have like 40-ish 4 stars, while Star Rail is 21. So it's very hard to say it's very hard to exclude like Ting Yun and Pillar and make an underrated list. But I think that in general, these are characters that will definitely help your account, especially if you're newer, and let's say if you're free to play and you are only pulling for specific characters. I would say always prioritize your supports, because the supports are going to last longer as compared to DPS, which is why I never really recommended much DPS except for Hertha. So yeah, I think that is that for this video. Really appreciate it. Once again, do give a like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Do also know that I stream live on Twitch, which is down in the description, where I stream Marvel Strike Force, which is the main game I play, and also Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. So I'll see you guys there. Other than that, until next time, whoops. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, be good to yourselves and the people around you, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Wrong.